What's up, guys? I'm gonna do a video on replacing the window regulator on my wife's Jeep. It took a crap, window fell, and you know, it's about time I start getting this Jeep in the routine of some videos. I'll be doing some more of these on this car because this is gonna be our primary for quite a while with our adventures. So I'll do a walk around on it later, but here it is right now. It's a 2003 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I'm just going to be replacing the window regulator on the right rear. So the regulator sits inside the door, and what it does is it raises and lowers your window with your switch. It's actually the entire lift mechanism. And as a temporary solution, I put these little suction cups on here just to hold the window up in place until I got the part in stock. Now it's here, so I'm going to go ahead and take this door panel off and I will get to the regulator. Also, if you look at the seal is not contacting anymore. This actually ends up popping off quite often. You can see little yellow clips in there. I think those clips are done for because this is a regular occurrence. So I don't have new clips for those today, but I will be replacing those eventually. I might take a better one that's down there in the corner and pop it up here just so it has something else to hold on to. So you got one screw up in here, and then behind the handle you got another screw there, and then what you do is you just pull all along the side of the door panel straight out, and you'll hear a horrible popping, clicking sound. It sounds rough, but it's normal. Those yellow clips I was just mentioning are common to break, so if you have extras, you're going to probably be using those, and if you don't, I would suggest having a couple extras before you start this job, because like I said, it's common for these to break. So yeah, that way you don't have a hanging door panel for a while. It's always good to be prepared for that. It's super common for those to break, so don't be shocked if they do. Be surprised if they held together though. So alrighty. So once you have the screws out, you're going to pull the door panel back a little bit, and you're going to see that you have your lock here. You have a wiring harness for your switch. So in order to get all this off, this pops to the side like that, okay, and you're going to roll it outwards, and you're going to pull this metal rod straight up and out of that pocket. And then you got one more right here, and you're gonna do the same there. Pop it to the side like that, and then you're gonna go straight up with it. You don't want to get these rods confused, and you really kind of can't because they're at different lengths anyways. Get the electrical connector for the switch. There's a little tab on the back side here. You're gonna press it and pull outwards, and then pull the panel off. And as a prime example, these clips break, like I said. So you have it'll break right there. These ones, this one's a bit smashed up, and that one's missing. So it's always good practice to keep extra clips in, and they're really easy to replace. All I do is slide straight out like that. There's got a little retaining clip here, and they look like this. These clips here just slide right back in. You can do this all the way around to all of them. So super common. Don't be afraid of it, just be aware of it. It's no big deal. They're not very expensive anyways to replace, and they're very easy to replace. So all right, onward. Door panel off now. You have your lining here, which looks like this one's falling apart pretty good, but it's got this sticky stuff. It's called butyl. All you're gonna do is pull this all off. You can get to the mechanism, which is behind here, and for this one it has a rear door speaker, and it's got some screws. You're gonna pull it off and unplug it, and then put that off to the side. All right. All right, so with the panel off and the lining off, you can see the skeleton of your door. And this is your track here for the window slide. And inside here you have your regulator. You have your motor that's bolted here. You got 3 screws. And then you have the frame that has 3 screws as well. You got 1, 2, and then you have a 3rd one right here above the harness. So this is the fun, tricky part, is trying to snake it all out. All right, so here's where it gets a little bit tricky. I have the window being held up right now by these 3 suction cups. You could use masking tape. Masking tape works fine too. I wouldn't recommend using packaging tape or duct tape to hold the window up as a temporary purpose. If you do bust your regulator, it does tend to destroy paint and seals, especially if it's on there for a prolonged time. Masking tape is a lot more forgiving on other materials, so the residue doesn't stick around and it won't fail as easy. It's easier to get off too if it is on there for a more prolonged time. So the tricky part is that window needs to be up for the majority of the process when you get the regulator out. But to get the glass separated from the regulator, there are a couple of clips inside of here, which you have to do. There's one there, and there's one up there. So what you gotta do is you gotta slide the window down to these pockets here so you can actually access those clips, and there's a couple tools that really make it a lot easier. So you can use a 45 pick like this or a pocket screwdriver, but this is probably the best way to go. That way you can get in there and kind of like hook it better, and you can't really with this straight pick. So the 90 or like a 90 or a 45 pick is going to be a lot more handy for this type of job. So I'm going to pull those suction cups, lower the window down and so I can access it here, and maybe not so much here. Probably more here. It's probably going to be where that other clip's going to be. So about here and here is where I'm going to lower that window down to. And I could go ahead and reinstall those suction cups so I can have the window being held, and I'll show you how that works here in a second. All right, so as you can see now that I lowered the window down a bit, within the speaker hole you can see the little metal tab sticking out there, and then you got one also right there. This one might be a little bit easier with the straight pick. This one's probably gonna be a little bit easier with that 90 pick. But whatever tool you have, whatever you can use to get this clip straight out this way. And it's gonna unclip itself from the glass. There's a little plastic pin here that goes through, and this metal clip here retains it all. So that one's gotta go straight out that way, and this one here has to go straight out that way. All right, now with those pins out, you're literally gonna just take the glass and this plastic piece, you're gonna pull the plastic piece towards you and the glass away from you, kind of give it a little bit of a twist. You pull it back like that, and it's gonna pull that little pin out of the channel there. You're gonna do that on both sides, and then what you do is you're gonna pull the glass back up and stick it again. I like using these suction cups because you can redo it. Using the tape kind of fatigues after a while when you're doing a job like this. It might not hold the glass as well, especially on some cars. Some glass is a lot heavier than others, so that's why these suction cups are really easy, because you can reuse them pretty quickly and just pop them back on there. So let's go ahead and do that. And now you got the glass up, you got the regulator down all the way. It's, I mean, completely busted. It's not even attached to the motor anymore. So we'll see exactly what happened. It looks like the cable popped off the plastic mechanism here, so that's done for. That's exactly what broke right there. So last 3 screws, get the regulator out, and then trying to figure out how to snake it out, which I think it's gonna be from this section here. This is the part where it kind of gets frustrating. Some cars are worse than others, so hopefully this one goes over pretty well. And personally, I like to take these screws out all the way. That way they're not getting caught on anything. I know it has little cutouts so you can slide it and pull it back, but that way you're not getting your screws caught on everything as you're trying to take out a very tricky part. Yeah, you can see where it broke already. That's pretty gnarly. All right, yep, that's done for. So there you have it. This is your old one out. Glass is still being held up thanks to the suction cups. Now, one of the biggest things I can always advise is putting that new one next to your old one and seeing if it's the correct one before you try and install it, because I've been there trying to install a wrong part into the correct base and it didn't work out. It's frustrating. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick layout and see if it's the same part. All right, so here's your layout of your new one and your old one. So you want to compare your new and old, both the mechanism itself and the motor. The harness is very important. You want to make sure that it's wired correctly and the connector is appropriate. Sometimes they modify these over the years. On this plate, I need to transfer these screws here to the mounting plate here. Just kidding, it comes with them. So that's actually pretty sweet. It comes with some new screws. It does come with clips. That's really nice on both sides. So that's gonna make this install that much more easy.
Actually, we had a tool box that Joe opened out that had all gas in it, and go around 4 burners on that. Cool. For gas. That was it. He could help with bringing in trucks, and he knew I was out in South America, and asked if I could help bring the entry of vehicles into Honduzu, which is where the event was starting from, 1989. And I said, well, yeah, I'd love to help Ian, but I'm in the middle of a trip, and I can't just step off the truck and leave these passengers in Brazil when I've got to get them up to Colombia. Sure. And,
another thing too is there is a clip here on the back side for your cable. Make sure that is inside that clip. Otherwise you're going to get a nice rattling sound and or that cable will get caught up on the window as you're rolling it up and down. So the next step is to pull those suction cups, lower the window down, and then you're going to pop those little tabs on the window glass back into here until you hear a snap and you can see that they are firmly back in there. Might I advise installing the electrical connector back onto the speaker, the window switch, and then doing a couple test runs, make sure everything's running smoothly before you put the door panel and the lining back on, just to be sure that you are good to go. All right, well, that was that. It's a pretty simple job. It could be very difficult on other cars. This one gets a little tricky when you're pulling the regulator out, but other than that, pretty good.